Hello, and welcome to a brand new devlog on my shooter. In this episode, I added some brand new meshes made by me. I had expected to add a little bit more in this episode, but it was way harder than I expected to actually get the meshes to work how they're supposed to. And before we continue, if you'd like to support me and you enjoyed the video, then consider liking it. And if you want to see more of my videos, then maybe hit the subscribe button. And now let's continue. I'm hoping that eventually my game will only have meshes that I've made. Oh, and if you don't know what a mesh is, it's basically just a 3D object. So I started to learn Blender, which is like the main way people make meshes. So yeah, I have tried to learn it before. It was painful. I made a cube, which is not hard to make. You just add a cube. But this time I had tried much harder and was much more committed. And I ended up making 2 weapons of mass destruction and a penguin. Then I rigged both the guns and the penguins, which took some time and learning. And rigging is basically just adding bones, so it's easier to animate later on. And then after that happened, I learned another skill of animation, which was hard to find info about. I could just never figure out what I needed to go into to start animating. So yeah, that was a bit painful. Again, the hardest part of this whole experience was actually importing it from Blender to Unreal. I spent many hours trying to get the penguin specifically into Unreal. For some reason, it was only the penguin. The guns were absolutely fine. There was nothing wrong with importing them. But the penguin is like the one thing that I liked the most. And it didn't want to go in. And my guns weren't even that good. They were like a few cubes slightly edited. My penguin actually had a personality. So then I tried to, obviously, I remade it in Unreal. It took a fair while to remake that in Unreal, because I made it in a skeletal mesh, but you can't just make it for some reason, so then I made a static mesh. And then I later discovered that static means it can't move. You're meant to be able to change it from static to skeletal, which skeletal mesh can move, but that just never works for me, so yeah. Then I just decided to go back to my Blender one, try and import it again. Looked at the error code, saw something about bone hierarchy. I think that's how you say it. And I thought that the smartest thing to do was definitely not to learn what bone hierarchy was, to just remove the bones entirely, which also removed the animations. But that doesn't really matter, because now I've got a penguin. And so I'm gonna end the video off there. Thank you for hearing through my pain and seeing my amazing penguin. Now, adios amigos.